At least Nathan can hear me. Hey, Nathan. Conference Day 2 in the Grand Postal Building or the Central Post Office. If you need to send a postcard, you can get some stamps on the first floor downstairs. How was your sleep? Okay, good. I woke up at 4 a.m. and then I couldn't sleep anymore. So I went to the 12th floor pool and I stand under the rain shower for 15 minutes like this. It was also quite interesting, but maybe tomorrow I get some more sleep. And you too. Van der Burg just said to me, did you notice that the apple crumble pie has the Steam logo embroidered inside? Crazy. Where's Team Germany? Are you here? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, can you give a round of applause for Team Germany who won yesterday's bowling bonanza? Congrats. And not for the first time, because they also did it last year. So actually, it's like the World Cup, football. They will come back next year, I guess. But maybe we do another sport you're not so good at. Huh? What about, I don't know. Can't think of anything funny. What about today? We have a full day of presentations. We have got a huge screen. And we are live on the interwebs. Good morning, Australia. Good morning, or good evening, Los Angeles. How are you guys doing? Enjoy today. We'll try to make it fun. It will be 8 hours of live streaming. And feel free to chat. And maybe somebody has a question. I hope somebody in the audience sees it and can post it whenever needed. What else? Nespresso. What else? No, ladies and gentlemen, look who's on the couch. It's Howell. I asked him to be on the couch in time, so he's here and he's going to tell all about our new mantra. Because prior to Hard Fork 21, 22, or 21 and 22, nobody was downvoting because, hey, downvotes are dirty. But now, downvoting is the answer, and Howell is going to tell you all about it.
Thank you. So does it work? No. That's an issue.
No, Vincent will click play, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay, so for those of you who missed me yesterday, perhaps because I was sleeping, I'm Ho, I'm the co-founder of SteemFest, and I also do on my free time proposals to improve Steam. Namely, I did the downvote control tool, which allows you to easily downvote. The reason why I did that is that, as Roland said, before the Hard Fork 21, we had a vicious cycle and my clicker is not working. No, yes. That's an issue. Okay. Okay, so we had a vicious circle, which was basically we have a lot of we had a lot of self-voting. What we did with self-voting is that any kind of basically self-voting was a problem for the platform because you just extract value without really profiting from it. Basic vote selling, which is just self-voting, and that's it. We also had no, okay. We also had like Bitbox, which was vote selling in itself. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay. Okay, second one. Perfect. So yeah, as I was saying, there was a vicious circle, which was like, you want to self-vote to gain as much money as possible, and the way you do that is that you can self-vote directly, or you use to sell your vote to Bitbots, which is just like self-voting with extra steps, since you get the value of your vote back directly. Better and better. And you also had basically vote trading, which is also a way of self-voting. which means that if you want to play the proof of brain game correctly, you actually want to like curate, etc. But you won't get as much value from that as self-voting. So which means that we actually had this vicious circle where if you're self-voting, you're actually gaining more value and more steam than good actors who are actually trying to play the proof of brain. Which means that over time you have more and more actors that are earning more on Steam and who are gaining more influence on the Steam blockchain. And the reason why that vicious circle was so predominant was that to actually fight the vicious circle, you actually have no incentive to do that because you actually have to pay for your downvotes. So that was a huge issue for a long time. And thankfully, we actually had the hard fork 29 who arrived, so we actually could downvote and try to break that circle. And I believe that downvotes played a crucial role in that because now it's basically free to fight abuse, which was like a big thing. Now anyone can participate, which means that it's no longer like a few select initiatives like Steam Cleaners who like felt that they could fight abuse, and now anyone can really do that since it's free. And it made doing the right thing economy viable because before then self-voting was much more profitable, but now if you try to self-vote, you will most likely get downvoted, which means that if you don't play the proof of game by trying to like curate the good content, etc., you will most likely get downvotes. So thanks to that, most self-voting activities stopped, including a lot of the bitbots, or for instance OCDB, who started doing curation. Shout out to SCDO if you're listening. So this is still not working. Okay, so this was good for a long time. But then after like a week or two, we had so much downvoting everywhere that it became actually quite hard to find good content to downvote. Because before you just went to trending and were like, okay, this is bad, I'll just downvote it, etc. And now trending is actually good, so thanks to everyone. But then it became like kind of reverse curation, because when you're curating, you cannot try to find the best content, whereas when you're downvoting, you try to find the worst content. And the worst content is becoming harder and harder to find, which is a good thing. But you also want to use your downvotes to continually try to help proof of brain. So, and since you have 2.5 full downvotes per day, you actually have to dedicate a lot of time to do that. And I wanted to create a tool for that, because you actually when you don't have time to curate posts, you just trail curation teams. And if you want to downvote, you don't have any downvoting trails really. So actually, at first I didn't want to make it, because I thought that there were already a lot of curation initiatives that had tools that they just had to flip over, because in terms of code it's not that hard. But most of them told me they didn't have time, or they were afraid of abuse, mainly like one downvote trail gaining too much power and being able to like destroy a lot of those things in the platform, or just straight up fear, because there was a lot of, as I said, a lot of self-voters who had a lot of influence, and they were afraid for their witness ranks or their earnings or things like this. So I thought that I might as well do it. So this is where I made downvote control. Does this work? Still not. Come on. Yes. So I made the downvote control tool. It's quite straightforward, actually. There are 4 main features. Basically, you have the trail downvote, which is the most basic thing you want to do. Just pick a guy and be like, okay, whenever you find some bad content, I want to downvote it as well. There will also the counter upvote thing, where if you find like a self-voting farm, you don't want to spend time trying to find it. You just find the guy and say, okay, whenever this guy upvotes someone, namely himself, since he's like farming, you'll just downvote it. And there is also, and since downvotes are now free, it's also free to abuse the downvotes and try to downvote bad content. So I actually made something to counter the downvotes from bad users, so that whenever you the user you trail downvotes, you'll actually vote it back up. So you can actually create a neutral game to get everyone kind of the same level. And finally, a hit list, where whenever someone makes a post and tries to, and his post reaches more than X amount of payouts, you'll just downvote it. So all of this may seem kind of bad, like, oh, you're just trying to like, you're just providing tools for everyone to hit each other. But ultimately, I think it's mostly about having everyone being able to like use these tools and do whatever they want with it. Because I think in the end, it's really about being able to participate, and if you don't have the time to participate, you're not helping the proof of brain in one way or another. So, and in that sense, I also wanted everyone to be able to do whatever they want with the tool. So I put a lot of options in terms of granularity. So you can set a vote ratio to vote more or less, depending on how much you trust the trail. You can set a few power thresholds so that you can avoid using too much of your voting power. Set a minimum payout so that you don't want to downvote stuff that is too low. I usually use that option actually to not downvote posts that is already under the new curve threshold, because now we have a new curve with hard fork 21, which means that if you are under a certain payout, you actually won't get as much steam as people who are above. So I wanted to do that. I also added a downvote waitlist so that you don't downvote the people you know are good authors. And of course an upvote blacklist, because I saw with the counter downvotes, people were actually continuously trying to downvote bad content, so that people who were actually trailing their downvotes to avoid them back up were actually using that to farm upvotes. So there is a lot of back and forth where some abusers try to find creative ways to go around the rules, and I try to implement new rules to get them back in check. So yeah, there is a lot of back and forth. So far we have about 15 million SPs that's using the tool. So there is a lot of active SP in it. That's really cool. We made more than 5,000 votes. The tool is obviously open sourced, because I want to make it as easy for people to extract it, change whatever they want. If they want to add more options, if they want to use it for the purposes, I want it to be available for the community. The tool is neutral. I think that's very important. I want the users to be able to do it in whatever sense they see fit. For instance, there is a guy who's actually using my tool to downvote me. So, and I was like, I mean, that's fine, because ultimately I think anyone should have his own view of what is content that should be downvoted, because that's ultimately proof of brain. And I actually think that it's what should be done. And this is where I actually want the tool to be open source, is that anyone can put whatever options they want in it and actually do the proof of brain. So yeah, and also another big idea is to level the playing field, because as you know, the abusers tend to have like vote farms and stuff that is actually automated. And whereas people who want to fight abuse are often like regular users, and those people don't automate anything. And so if they don't know how to code, they won't have time, or they won't actually be able to code stuff to fight this. And so this is the idea of the downvote control tool, is to really put everyone on the same level and try to render proof of brain, even if it's between bots. It's also still kind of proof of brain. So in the future, I most likely put more granular vote campaigns to like more options, because I very frequently get feature requests to have more and more stuff to be able to like basically pinpoint exactly what they want to downvote. So this is one of the options that I'm gonna add. There is kind of a cat and mouse game where basically we implement new features to be able to detect exactly what you want to downvote, and then the people who get downvoted, mainly abusers, try to find ways to not get downvoted. So we always try to add new features on top of that. Feel free to suggest any features to me on GitHub. I usually implement them within a month or within a week, depending on how busy I am at that time. And yeah, it's live. You can check it out on downvotecontrol.com. We have Steam Connect and Keychain if you don't trust Steam Connect. And so that's about it. And since Roland gave me a lot of time, I wanted to go on a slight tangent on the Steam proposal system. So for those of you who don't know, the SPS, in a nutshell, is a public fund for proposals, so that you can actually improve the chain one way or another. And anyone can submit a proposal, although they have to pay a 10 SBD fee to actually submit the proposal. And in order to get funding, you have to get consensus to get your proposal to get to payout. And the issue with it is that I found that there were not enough proposals, and I really want to get as many people as possible using it. So I thought I'd do a small Get Your Proposal Funded 101. So first of all, if you want to do a proposal, you have to find an idea. You have to find if it's feasible, if it's, how will it increase the Steam price, because ultimately that's what we all want. If it's onboarding, if it brings new users, if it helps proof of brain, for instance, .NET Control does that, if it will help in one way or another, that's what you should ask yourself. If yes, and if it's code, you should try to make it open source, if possible. Keep in mind that these are recommendations, not stuff you should do, but I just found out that after speaking with a lot of stakeholders, that's the kind of stuff that they feel that should be on the proposal. So then you need to estimate how much funding you need. Be humble if it's your first one, but don't undersell yourself, because ultimately you will get demotivated very quickly if you don't. And that's some things that I didn't see a lot of people do, is take to stakeholders before you actually submit the proposal, because there is nothing worse than actually doing your proposal and then finding out that the stakeholders find a critical flaw in your thing, or they don't agree with your funding, and then you're basically just lost 10 SBD because you have to resubmit your proposal. So talk to them beforehand, talk to as many people as you can, make a Steam post, get it to trending if you can. And don't go only to the whales, because actually there is a lot of Steam users, a lot of orcas and dolphins, and it's really easy to stack up a few orcas to get a whale. So really try to do that. Next, there is actually, it's more on the execution side. You should create deliverables so that you can actually get accountability. I think accountability is one of the most important things when you do a proposal, and it's what gives most confidence in the stakeholders to vote you, is to actually show that you will deliver, and that if you did not deliver this week or these past 2 weeks, people should be able to point to you and be like, oh yeah, you did not deliver, and vote you out if you did not. So I think that's very important. If your proposal is very long, this is kind of a personal view. You don't have to follow that, but I think it's really important as well. Don't make a year-long proposal. If your proposal will take a year, make it in quarters, and just renew your proposal. By renew, I mean just make another one at the end of the 3 months. Because basically, if you got your proposal to pay out last time, it should be relatively easy to get it back, because the stakeholders voted you the last time, and just go back to the people who voted you and say, hey, I just put on a new one. So for instance, that's what Inertia did when he made the first one for 1 month, and then she did another one for 3 months. And as you can see, he's back on the top. And I don't know how hard it was for him, but I assume it wasn't that hard since he got to pay the first time. So it brings you more accountability, which is really the main idea behind it, is that you're no longer asking for money for the whole year and be like, okay, just pay me and I might do things. It's more like, okay, I'm going to do this in the first 3 months, and then I'm going to do this in the next 3 months. And it gives you more professionalism, basically. And finally, give yourself some time to actually gather the votes. It takes some time to talk to people. Even if you talk to them beforehand, it will take time for them to actually get a hold of their active key and vote for you. So if you're like, okay, I talk to everyone, and everyone is like, okay, I'll vote for you, and you put your proposal to pay out immediately, you will most likely lose money, because people will take time to vote for you. And that should be it. Okay. So in terms of, I'm going to do a few final words. So downvotes are okay. You should use your downvotes. Basically, one of the reasons why downvotes are viewed so negatively is the fact that they are kind of rare, which means that when you receive downvotes, you see it as a very big thing, and you're kind of hurt by it. Although that's kind of an issue by design, but that's how proof of brain is. And one of the problems is that is the bias where you see pending rewards and you think pending rewards belong to you, where in reality they do not. Pending rewards are just consensus forming, and it takes a week for consensus to actually form on how much your post should be rewarded. So you shouldn't look at pending rewards and be like, okay, this is my money. You should look at it as, this might be my money. So until you actually get payouts, this is not your money, and you should not look at downvotes as someone taking money out of you. You should just look at downvotes as someone disagreeing with all the stakeholders who voted you up. So finally, everyone who has good ideas, or ideas, because I'm not the one who to judge, although I will judge with my vote, should make proposals. Please do proposals. Actually, if really your 10 SBD, you're like afraid of the 10 SBD, I'm down to pay your first proposal if that's an issue for you. And also, finally, I see a lot of proposals that are like projects or code. And I think we should have more proposals that are soft skills, more or less. Like I was actually expecting a lot of marketing to be done via the proposal system, and I did not see a single one, and I was quite disappointed by that. I mean, why isn't there like a proposal for videos or tutoring and stuff like this? And I think it should really be a thing. So, come on. So thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, or I don't know if you have time or not, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. No questions? Perfect.
If you have a question, you can post here at the mic.
No, sounds good.
I think nobody has a question for okay.
That's what you do when you get a perfect presentation.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Thank you very much, Howell, for. We continue immediately the program with Mr. Roadscape, because I think he is going to be sitting over there. Oh, he is. Okay. Roadscape has been working on hive minds and communities for some time, and I think he wants to show us some stuff he's been doing, which is pretty cool to have new features on Steemit.com being shown at SteemFest, because it kind of makes it like the big Apple event with one more thing, and this is the greatest release ever, right? Oh, and I also have a microphone for you, maybe then people on the live stream can hear you, please.
I might actually... Hello? I might actually sit for this one.
Okay, that's fine. You want to SteemFest? You want to go near the Sangsom? I see. I get it. Do you want me to connect you up, or with the air display, or use it in a moment?
Let's see. Can I hook it up in a minute?
Sure.
Will it automatically?
Yeah, if you do it again, and if it won't show up, you should hit the mirror displays. Okay. The chair is yours.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Roadscape, and I've spent quite a bit of time planning basically what the future is for Steemit.com. And what it comes down to is, I explained a lot of this yesterday during the talk. Having the most powerful blockchain doesn't get you very far if people can't see that. And one of the concerns is a lot of people think that we need to solve, we need more features on the blockchain. We need more marketing, easier signups, but I think it all comes down to engagement. Communities has the potential to address all these core issues. And that's a lot of pressure for just an application. In designing communities, I was constantly asking myself value questions. What would a healthy platform look like? What does a moderation system which serves its users look like? And how do you shift Steam from a game people play to a way they interact with the world? And what is a community? A community is a group of people who share something in common: attitudes, interests, and goals. Communities offer the ability to work together towards a common goal. Some of the design principles I think are important. A solution would have to be open source, open protocol, self-governing, which is basically decentralized leadership. It has to be voluntary, and it has to have a fair and balanced moderation system. And it has to address the core issues of engagement. I found 5 primary issues. No gamification. Steam is a game. Games are fun. Good games are fun, fair, mostly, easy to learn, and rewarding to master. We need content discovery. We need to make it easy to find interesting content. And we need a homepage to be proud of. We need to empower leaders. We need tools to formally and efficiently organize, take responsibility, and create something you actually believe in. Everyone in the community wants to add value, and we have really, really rough tools. Another issue is noise and low-value posts. And this is what happens when there's no ownership and no responsibility or standards. It creates an environment for noise. And finally, general trolling and flag wars. This creates a toxic environment. Toxicity breeds toxicity, kills culture, and right now the platform keeps trolls well fed. Some of the richest levels of social engagement are found in free expression, vulnerability, non-judgment. With regards to flag wars, I think it's really important to destigmatize downvoting and decouple downvotes from post visibility. There's a few issues which are really just symptoms, such as people think Steam's too complicated. But really the only unintuitive thing is, why am I here? Where are my people? People think rewards are broken, that they say they're unfair, abused, and there's no incentive to vote honestly. Content discovery can do a lot to address this issue. Lack of marketing, again, is not going to get us far for a social network. This is a platform that could easily spread by word of mouth. And until we address retention, it's throwing money down the drain. And another big one is that people say there's no incentive to hold vesting shares. And the core value of Steam Power, I think, boils down to having influence and some bandwidth, influence over social rewards, influence over witnesses and proposals. And if you have a vision for the platform, you would want influence. You believe in it, and you want to see, you want to have a positive influence on it. And the second one, bandwidth. I think everything boils down to resource credits. And right now, we have a few engaging games, but it's nothing that really gets people excited and get people using the platform. So I want to change that. An issue I consider to be second most important is onboarding, which a lot of people think is a primary issue, but we really need to address engagement first. And for onboarding, it's sign up. We just need to make it easy to sign up instantly and securely save your keys. Until this is addressed, we're potentially turning off users and making it hard for them to ever come back again. And possibly the biggest issue for onboarding is the first use experience. And I think to have an excellent first use experience requires having thriving subcultures on the platform. As I mentioned yesterday, my vision for communities, for SteemIt, is to have a home for everybody and a community for all. I'm trying to figure out if this is the right time to do a demo. Okay. So I just want to mention, communities are deceptively simple. And it might not be clear right away what they're capable of. And it's not going to be clear to everybody until we have thriving subcultures. So what I'd like to do today, we've had a few beta testers. We found all the obvious bugs, and the system's been chugging along for a few weeks. But there's no real community that exists. So today I'd like to create the first actual community, which will be for SteemFest. And I'd like you all to join, try it out, click around, try to break things. And the beta is still closed, but please come and talk to me or somebody else after the presentation, and we'll get you in. It's struggling a little bit to connect to your network. Okay. Originally, I wasn't going to demo this, so this is just a bonus.
Slijt naar beneden, aan en uit. Hotspot op het tweede scherm.
So let's see. While we figure this out, I can just say a few words about where we're at. The closed beta is fully operational. It's a little rough, but fully functional. Right now, what needs to be done is to polish the front end. And a little bit of polishing on the back end, which will happen, let's see. Some of the good news, Communities is going to be launched on 3 UIs, Steemit.com, SteamPeak, and eSteam, and hopefully many more. The goal is to unite all the platforms and have a open protocol, open framework between them all. Another piece of good news is implementing communities on Condenser required cleaning up a lot of the technical debt. And this is going to make it easy to move forward with gamification features and fun games. So Condenser has been locked into an old, fairly monolithic API for 3 years, and that's prevented a lot of forward progress. So communities is the first big step forward, but it's also it creates the environment for many new features. Looks like we're up. Okay, so right now, it looks very similar to what we have today. And you can think of communities as a type of special tag that people can have some sense of ownership over. So right now, there's just a few test communities. My favorite is Windows 95. And some of the basic features is, you can see the leadership team is listed here. There's the owner account, there's me, the admin, and Firepower is a mod. And I can create whatever rules I want to create. In this one, it's no Windows ME allowed. And again, it's very similar to what we have today, but with a few key features. So here we see the communities that exist, and I'm going to show you how we create a community. This part has to be done through the wallet because it requires the creation of an account. It costs about 3 Steem. And it's been made as simple as possible because everything else is done through Steemit.com. I have securely saved my owner name and password. Actually, I'm gonna refresh really quick so people watching the stream don't catch this. Nah, that didn't work. Okay. No, I was securely saving my key, not projected to a large crowd. So it costs 3 Steam, about 50 cents. So what it's doing right now is creating the account, and it's setting me Test Safari as the admin, setting the initial title of the community, and also subscribing me to the community. No, this is in production. So it links you back to here. And, okay, so we have I'm testing a new layout. Community member submitted a PR to kind of refresh the design and feel of Steema.com. They're lightweight changes, but I think they make a meaningful impact. I have not had a chance to button up some of the issues, but I really appreciate him doing that. And I can't pronounce his name. In my mind, I read it as Kuchoi, but I think it's Kuo Hui. Does anyone know? So he sent me the pronunciation links this morning, but I didn't get a chance to. They're on YouTube and they weren't loading. But okay, so here's our community, and here's how you make a new post. You can see, so on purpose, I tried to reuse as much of the existing components on Condenser as possible. And so quite a bit of code has been cleaned up, which is paving the way to move forward. But a lot of the improvements are to the architecture itself. But for now, the UI resembles very much what we have today. The biggest difference here, it shows that you're posting to a community, and if you want to switch back to posting to your blog, it's kind of a little toggle. So anyway, it works like that. And it's going to take a few seconds for HiveMind to index this post and pick it up. So there's going to be a slight delay right now. Yeah, and there we go. And again, you can see here, this is the owner account that was created, and this account, for now, is meant to be just kept on ice. And everything else is done through your account, which is admin. From here, you can assign moderators. So if you go to Edit Roles, I can add a user like Roland. I'll set him as mod. I'll add Firepower as mod. And who else? Gandalf. Okay, and let's see. Let's take a look at my post. So I can set, as a mod or higher, you can set anyone's user title. So, what do I want to be? I'm just going to go with Bill Gates again. Wow, Gandalf, that was, whoa, nice. Well done. GTD, definitely blockchain wizard. And fundamentally, when human groups organize, everyone has a role and a title. It doesn't matter if it's a community, a volunteer organization, a business, a sports team. Everyone's got a role and a title. And maybe the titles mean nothing, but they're absolutely important. They mean everything. So let's see. Holy shit. That was very fast. So I'm really excited to get some people in here and posting. Let's see what it does. We found all the obvious bugs, and we need your help to see what's missing. There's a lot of features I'm just not going to cover because I think it's all going to hopefully make sense on its own. And you'll see that it goes deeper and deeper. And this has the power to really reshape how content curation works, how upvotes work, and even downvotes. Communities are deceptively simple, and I think they have potentially, I think they will have very big second and third order effects. We're not going to see them until people are using them. And I hope you all will help with beta testing, because this is critical. Just to show you, we have a few basic community settings. There's more in the protocol. But for now, title, about, description, flag text, and if it's a not safe for work community. In the protocol already is language, and this will make it really easy to organize local and language-based communities. For instance, if somebody is coming and we detect they're in Korea, instead of showing them the global trending page, we could show them trending among all communities. We could show them trending among all Korean communities. There's so many really, obvious features we can add once this is all populated. I think that's all for now. Thank you. So, there's a lot to do, but the immediate priorities are crystal clear. The next steps are engagement, followed by onboarding. We're going to dive into all the untapped potential of this technology and this community. I think it's a huge turning point for Steem. And as pioneers of blockchain social network, none of us had any idea the scope of the challenges we would face. We're a lot wiser now. And we can return to the initial dream of what Steem can and will be. This is a dream that started over 3 years ago. So it's kind of overwhelming to announce it's here. And communities will form a solid foundation for what we've so badly needed to really start to be able to dream again. This is a new beginning. How much time is left?
5 minutes, please. Okay? Or make 10.
Let me just say what we're all feeling. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much for a lot of us that have been here since 2016 and on. To go from a reference implementation to the focus of what we're doing is so amazing, so incredible. I could just sit here forever and tell you thank you, but I won't do that. I do actually have a question. You talked earlier about gamification, which I completely agree with. It's really important. And yet there's been studies that talk about when we gamify creative activity, it actually decreases the creative activity. And this is one of the challenges that I think I don't hear talked about enough within the blockchain space and the gamification space. We have these incredible creative people, and we want to incentivize them, and tokenization of the web does that, but it also has the potential to decrease that creative activity. And I was curious if you've thought about that and what ways we might be able to combat that to keep the creative activity and also reward people creating value. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. I do think it's important to recognize that gamification can't be applied universally to everything. And I think it's what I want to see with communities is, again, thousands of little breeding grounds of subcultures, of values, and every community should be able to be gamified differently. And some communities may want just a very simple game. Some of our communities are just going to be based on real-world projects or interest groups like science, and others are going to be just purely entertainment. So I think it's really important that it's that we let everybody experiment with their own features and adopt what suits them and what actually suits their needs.
I have 2 questions, and the first one is, if I post to a community, are you saying that will not appear on my blog?
Right now, it will not appear on your blog, but you can re-steam it to get it also on your blog.
Okay.
That's in case somebody wants to post in a community but keep the blog clean.
I appreciate that answer. That's a great answer.
Cool.
And then the second one is, who's getting those rewards, and is there like beneficiary, or you hit right away with rewards there? So I'm assuming it's 7 days still. And who is it? The community getting the reward or the author?
That's a good question. That's something I didn't touch on yet. Right now, all the rewards are they go to you. And all the mechanics are as they have been. One important feature that was taken out for the initial release was the ability for a community to collect beneficiary rewards. And the idea with that is a community could say that 10% of all rewards from posts in this community have to go back to the community wallet. From there, it could be distributed to, say, a moderation team, or if it's say it's a photography, say it's a Photoshop contest community, they could collect 25% of every single post payout and then use that as a jackpot for a big monthly contest. Or it could be used for local meetups where people are posting and funding a community wallet, which is then used to throw a local event, a dinner, or just a party. And one thing I want to add is it's actually, with this whole framework, it's very easy to create, for instance, a meetup style community. And one of the features that would be easy to add is the ability to specify on a post like an event start time, an event end time, and a location. And now you have something that resembles very much meetup.com. And I think the idea of using Steem to organize local communities is really powerful.
So congratulations on releasing the feature. So I think we all realize that this feature is something that needs to reach out to people, right? So do you have any specific plan that exactly which kind of communities you want to start building, or you want to leave it to the community? Is there a marketing plan around that how you want to start building the first communities, how to go about that?
The first communities are entirely up to you guys. It's anyone can start whatever kind of community they want to see, and we will help communities that are working hard and driving engagement on the platform. We will help bring visibility to them, and especially ones with that are adding value to the ecosystem, or or have very fair moderation, or whatever metrics. But it's something that communities create, something that you now have ownership of, and when something is yours, you have more incentive to make it your own, to promote it. Right now, you don't have, for instance, a lot of people use tags for organization on the platform, but to promote a tag, it's never actually yours. Anybody can enter, and you have no say. So, we're not creating any communities on our own, but one I would really like to see is for somebody to take the torch on an introduce yourself community. I personally love to see who's coming on the platform, and I love to see them welcomed by real people and not bots.
There is one more question. Like you said, the communities that anyone creates, there will be a kind of ownership for that community. So how does that exactly happen? What if a community grows too big and there are different people coming in? So how do they maintain your ownership over that?
Whoever creates a community becomes the owner, and the owner sets the administrator, and administrators can appoint moderators. So it's whoever created the community, it's always theirs.
Hi, thanks, Tim. My question is, I'd like to ask, I want to understand what is the difference, okay, that you hope to see happen? You just mentioned that currently we do have communities, and they are identified by tags like Curie or Team Malaysia, etc., etc. What's the difference that you hope to see now that you've introduced this? What's the difference? Like currently, you said that meetups, but we have Discord for that, or we have Meetup.com for that. What is the benefits of doing this now?
So if I understand your question correctly, you're saying we already have a lot of communities that exist and a lot of the tools to kind of organize. The goal with this is to, one of the issues with that is it creates a lot of fragmentation on the platform. For instance, with a tribe, when you create, the way the tribe is shown on their page is not going to be reflected at all on steemit.com. And also everyone is having to kind of create their own solutions for these common problems. The community's protocol is as simple as possible, just to encourage everyone to adopt it and have a common ground. So communities are cross-platform, which means your community is yours, and it can go between UI, it can go from UI to UI. If you create it on steemit.com and you decide you no longer want to use it, everything, all the moderators still exist on SteamPeak. So it's completely cross-platform, and that's what gives you true ownership.
Right, okay, got it. Thanks. Looking forward to it.
In addition to that, you mentioned Discord. I really want to see more discussion happening on platform and get more of that engagement back and unified.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause for Roadscape. And So Tim, somebody told me you are a huge fan of huge fans and also a huge fan of SteemFest, right? So please allow me to give you this unique collector's item for your collection. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Thanks a lot. And we immediately going to continue the program. Oh, by the way, there are some folks standing at the back. If you feel like sitting, because you stand already all day, there are some chairs left. Just try to mingle in and don't be shy to be a little rude to get your spot, right? We got the chairs to sit on, if you want to. I think we're now going to continue with Mr. Buttcoins, who came all the way from Guatemala, and he left at home. Oh, you're videotaping yourself. You don't trust the tech, I get it. Who came all the way from Guatemala, and he left his hostel, because he owns a hostel, in the hands of several construction companies. So you gotta, feel for him, because this tension of being a hostel owner and then leaving other people do the construction work. He was telling already about shaping the bar, he can't be there, so a big round of, and he's going to tell more about real world use cases of crypto and Steam specifically. So please, a big round of applause for Mr. Buttcoins.
Thanks, Ben.
Cheers. Oh yeah, the clickertje. Turn it on and to...
All right. Hey, guys. Good morning. Hope you all slept okay. Didn't party too hard. I just want to take a split second first and say thank you to Rulin for throwing this event, bringing us all together. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and see real people. And I love hearing everybody, and I want to thank all the presenters, all the people with the great projects, and it's awesome to see Steam Inc. here. It was really inspiring to hear you guys yesterday. It kind of made me feel good, and I look at all these great projects, and I was like listening to everything yesterday, and I was like, what am I doing here? Why does that go back? Because my intention was to talk about this here, this Lago tribe, this little idea of if I'm going to be part of a community, I want to actually engage in it, and so this was my plan. But the thing is I like to be authentic, and this is on pause for me. I'm as said, I'm in the middle of getting my hostel ready for the high season, and I really needed to focus on that. So I just put this on to pause. And so I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I had this whole thing written out, and I'm not going to do anything about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about story. I have no skills. I'm not a techie person. I'm an actual user of Steam. I came to Steam for very specific reasons, and I really feel that maybe Roland shouldn't have invited me to be up here, but fine, it's fine. I don't care. I'm here. I'm happy. It's his fault. Blame him. Hopefully, I won't be the Jerry of this season. But yeah. So I just kind of I want to say, we've been fooled, schooled, our whole life's to be ruled, strapped down by definition. Have you learned your lesson? You better stop your second guessing and play along. This game's not long, and if you go against the grain, public might declare you clinically insane. Give your cerebellum a shock. Don't try to pick the lock. There's bolts and chains securing these mental halls where the walls are soundproof. But shh, there's always someone there to listen. Stories. We tell stories. We listen to each other. Over and over again. our life is a series of stories, talking to one person, talking to the next person. And so, to start really quick, I want to tell my story. I want to tell butt coins. Why butt coins? Like, what the heck, you know? So the story starts in May 2017. I was interested in crypto. I had like looked into it in 2014. It confused me. Now I'm back again. It was like the hype was starting to come up. I was interested. I was listening to podcasts. I was trying to figure out what this whole crypto scene was all about. It fascinated me, and I just didn't understand the terminology. I'm not a techie person, as I say, and so I was just trying to figure out what this was. So I had a friend, and that friend was investing. So I was like, hey, let's get together. Let's talk. And he knew another guy, and so then all three of us, we all sit down for a little like meetup. I didn't even know what a meetup was. I'd never heard of a Bitcoin meetup or anything like this, but I was having a Bitcoin meetup. We were sitting around talking. I was definitely the noob in the group. I did not know anything. I had not invested. I was confused. I'm a practical person. I look at like the way things work and why they work, and I want to make sense of them. And I kind of have like a bullshit meter. I don't like bullshit that much. I like authenticity and realness. And so I was like looking at this thing, and it just felt like so much baloney. I didn't understand, and I'm talking to these guys, and I'm like, why would you use these stuff? Like, why? Like, it didn't make sense. Like, Bitcoin kind of made sense. It was like, okay, store of value. I get it. You know, government can't touch it. This makes sense. But like, all these other coins, I just was like, what are they? Like, and then there's this one little moment in the thing, and I'm just like, you know, it's like so many, this is like people trying to pull money out of their butts. It's like butt coins. And like, it was like one of those moments. It was like, we all had like a Beavis and Butthead. It was like, we had like a nice little laugh, and it was like butt coins. And so, you know, it was May, you know, and here I am in August. I've learned more. I've actually started to invest a little bit in some various cryptocurrencies, and basically, like, I'm still super skeptical. I'm investing in a few things. I'm taking little nibbles. I'm trying to understand the field, but I'm very interested in use case and what makes like why you want it. Why do you use it? I just didn't understand a lot of the like baloney stuff of it. And so at this point in mid-August is when somebody was like, "Have you heard of Steem? It's a social media one." And like, it was like, bing, social media? Wow, valuing based on social media? It was like one of the first times I was like, that makes sense. That actually makes sense. Like to take like something like Facebook and all these things that are using our energy, and then to actually like be like, wow, like I could gain value and I could have value, and we can all like value each other's thing through a cryptocurrency. It was really one of the first times I was like, totally, I'm into this. I'm going to check it out. So I go on. I didn't join. I just went on to the page, and I look around. And of course, you know, you do what you do. You check trending, and we all know the story of trending. I was like, well, what the freak is this? You know, like what? I could not get why these things were making so much money, and it seemed like scams. It seemed like I was confused. I just was like, what? Why? As was talked about with the hive mind, I couldn't find anything that was like appealing to me. It just felt weird. It was like, how do I find things? How do I get to places, right? And so basically, I was still just kind of like, all right, I gotta just join this because it's at least interesting. I'm gonna see what it's all about. So September 1st, I make my account, and I decide this place doesn't, it like, I don't see any like humor. I don't see any like anything that takes itself too seriously, it seems like. It's all technical information and advertisement for different stuff. And I was just like, you know what? The butt coins came back. I'm like, I'm gonna be butt coins. I'll be butt coins. I'll bring parody. I'll bring funny stuff. I'll bring weird stuff. I'll write poetry. I'll be totally the opposite of what's going on that I see for the most part. And so butt coins was born. And the first thing I did, I had a parody that I did. I had Crypto Bro. I had this like character that I was playing, and I posted it on DTube. And classically, the first 2 posts I ever posted on DTube, on Steam, the sound didn't play. And this was my first experience with the site. I was like, oh, the sound's not playing. Could somebody help me? And like, it's just like, dude, you're like, hey, there ain't nobody here to help you, man. You know, like, no, like, you know what? There are. I'm not saying that, but just in general, like, nobody was like, especially butt coins. It's like, I must be a scammer, right? You know, and so like. So nobody is like talking to, and it's just, I feel like a bit lost inside of this thing. And so I do what most humans do. I backed away. I just backed off. I was just like, all right, well, you know, and I kind of didn't even look at it for like couple weeks. And like 2 or 3 weeks later, now we switch into a little bit of my life. So this is my life. I live in Guatemala. This is the front end of my hostel. Everything behind is the cafe. And right here on the left that you can't see is this yoga platform. I live here day in, day out. I have a nice little existence. I'm not here to like really pitch anything. But, you know, I pitch to you guys, if you're stressed out in your life and you need a vacation, you live anywhere near Guatemala, don't worry about staying at my place. But like, you should come to this lake. It's amazing. It's super relaxing. You travel just like we travel around on the canals yesterday. You get from town to town via a boat. It's a big 80-mile lake. It's nice, man. And yeah, we all deserve some niceness in this life. So if you are ever in Guatemala, don't hesitate to look me up. So anyways, so here I am. I've spent the last 7-8 years at the point that I'm joining Steam It. I've spent the last 7-8 years of my life trying to like create this place and survive. I got 2 kids down there. I got a wife. I'm trying to survive as a human. I'm trying to make this thing make me money. I'm using all of my creativity. I'm using all of my passion, all of my love. I'm spreading the word constantly. I'm there in the place always. I'm giving every bit of myself to that place. And here I am 7 years later, and I'm like, who the fuck am I? Where am I? Where is the me inside of me? Where's the self-care? Where is my self-care? I had like lost a piece of myself. I had been this creative person, and I was missing that creative stuff. In comes Steam. I make a decision. I say, I got to give Steam a chance. I got to give it a go. I need creativity in my life. I need to rediscover my creativity, so I'm going to give Steam a chance. I did 60 days, 60 posts. It was a self-challenge. I'm going to make a post every single day, and I'm not worried about it. I did not come to Steam like a lot of people for money. I never was interested. I still am not interested in the money. Sure, I've invested. I would like to not lose that money, but I am not here for money. I don't care. Like, it's fine. I have my existence. I make my money on my own. I don't need Steam to earn money. This is not why I joined. It's not what I'm doing. It's a passion thing for me. So I joined this thing. I start making these posts. And of course, like so many people, like what I'm bringing is this feeling of being a noob, being a minnow. And that experience for me was disheartening. It was hard. If I hadn't have made a 60-day, 60-post challenge to myself, I would not be here. I would not have stayed if I had not done that, because it is painful when you pour your heart into an idea and you get no attention and nobody looks at it and nobody votes for it. I had a series of 7 cents, 10 cents, 7 cents, 10 cents. A couple bots talk to me. Okay, you know, it's super frustrating, and you know, and you're really giving yourself and you're really giving your emotions and your care and your thoughts, and you want interaction. That's what you want. You want somebody to be like, hey, I liked your post, and it really, this part meant something to me. You want this. You want somebody to actually read you, because we're selfish. We're selfish humans. We want somebody to hear our story and care about our story. It's the nature of being a human. It's what we do. You know, like, I don't know, I should probably change this. This is our, so basically the thing of what I'm trying to get at is it's all about these stories. With Del Lago here, I don't know why I was doing that. With Del Lago, my thing was I have never advertised. I've never paid to advertise this place. We are top 10 hostels in Guatemala. We are definitely top 3 hostels in the lake. And, 60 beds. We're always full. We've got events every day. We've got activities every day. It's a fun place to go to. And what I knew is that if people told the story of coming to my hostel, if my story of my hostel was part of their story, then my story would spread. And so what I needed to do was get people to have a good experience, to have a good story, because the story is what spreads. Before we had trending on technical things, trending is actually humans talking to each other about stories. Jesus is a trend. Buddha is a trend. These are the first trends. We talk and tell each other a thing. We spread that thing, and we spread it based on the feeling that we think that we're going to get. We want people to be part of this story. Hey, man, you got to check out Jesus. Hey, man, whatever. You spread the story based on your comfort level about talking about the story. And here is one of the things that I see as a problem is that talking about STEAM to other people often leaves other people looking at you like you're crazy. And so, therefore, what this does, what happens is that we as humans, the nature of being human, we don't want to share it because we don't want someone to look at us like we're crazy. So, one of the things that I am kind of here to talk about is one of the things that I wanted to get across, because I'm not a techie person. Why the heck am I up here? Well, I want to encourage everybody to figure out, what is the story? What is your story? I don't think that STEAM needs some consolidated, perfect story. It's a wide open place with lots and lots of interesting people coming from lots of different areas with lots of different subjects. So it's a wide story. So that it's not the issue. Like, my story's simple. Come to my hostel, enjoy the stay, enjoy the food. Okay, so I want people talking about those simple stories. But STEAM is like a larger picture. So it doesn't need one consolidated story. What I believe that it needs is each and every person that cares about STEAM, that likes STEAM, to really think about their story of STEAM. What is your story of STEAM? Why does STEAM matter to you? Why do you care about STEAM? Because if you can touch into the reasons that you care about STEAM, why STEAM is important to you, and it's from a true, authentic place, then it becomes much easier to share that story with somebody else, to figure out what are the ways that I can talk about STEAM that make me feel less crazy, that make people look at me less crazy. Okay? So one of the things that I have personally, I can tell you one of the biggest things when I talk about STEAM, I talk about STEAM saved my creative life. It made me care about creating again. Since I joined STEAM, I've made 150 little movies. This is freaking awesome for me. I can be this weird autonomous person that anonymous person, I meant to say, I'm not like Brian of the hostel on STEAM. I'm Buttcoins. I'm this whole other personality that's creative and does all these things, and I can give all that energy to STEAM for that reason. So for me, that's part of my story. And the other huge piece for me is that before I joined STEAM, I spent and wasted so much of my existence on energy given to Facebook and Instagram and these other places. And they suck our energy, and they eat our energy, and they want us to get involved in these little things. And what I can say is that my life, since I joined STEAM, is 80 to 85% less Facebook. I barely am even on Facebook now. I use Facebook now. Facebook doesn't use me. I take my little post for the hostel and I put it out there. Somebody maybe will ask a question. I answer the question. Facebook, Instagram, they get none of my personal energy. None of it. Not even a little dribble of it. I don't get involved in any of these pathetic threads. Now I get involved in pathetic threads on Steam. But the point being is that this for me has been a powerful personal story that I tell when I'm sharing the story of Steam, because these guys shouldn't, in my opinion, be focused on spreading the word of Steam. They should be focused on making awesome tools for us to interwork in. The idea is you make an advertisement and you put an ad out there and tons of people are going to come because you promote Steam. I don't believe that shit. Maybe you get a few people to come involved, but the way that Steam spreads is us. The people out there, you out there in society, if you're not being like, who the hell is this guy? Why did throw him on? If they're not saying that, maybe they're listening to me and they're thinking, hey, what is my personal story of Steam? How can I spread this story of Steam in a positive way that I feel good about, that doesn't leave the person that's looking at me and talking to me and thinking that I'm crazy? How do I spread that story? Because we personally are the people that are spreading this story. I found this dumb little thing. It says, oh, look, we talk to each other and we all spread the word of Steam. But it's the truth. It's the truth. The people that you infect, it's an infection. It's like a rate of infection. We personally, I am a walking infection. I care about Steam. I infect other people. They maybe get infected. They maybe peek and look at it. Hopefully they have a good experience when they enter in, and then they're infected, and then hopefully they infect somebody else. This is the way it spreads. It doesn't spread from advertisement in my mind. It doesn't, it's part of it. You want to be visible. You want somebody to, when they've heard of Steam, you want them to have seen the logo. I agree with that. But you don't get new users because of a Google ad, in my opinion, or not many of them. You get it from a real person talking to another real person about the positivity that they've had, the experience that they had, the reasons why they personally liked Steam. And so for me, that is how we do it. And we've lost a lot of members. I will say here to you directly, I had a whole crew of people that I was super excited to have met and be part of and discording with and all this kind of, and it shrunk, and it makes me a little bit sad. I came here not sad for Steam, but just sad that why is it shrinking? It doesn't make sense to me. Why do more people not understand that this is ours? That this is not Facebook where you're just giving it away to fucking Zuckerfuck. This is ours. We own it. I literally own some of Steam. I literally have some say in Steam. I'm not saying I can change Steam. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I actually have my own little piece and my own little influence. And that is powerful. You do not get that on Instagram. We are nothing. We are nothing to these people. We are their products. And so I know I'm kind of talking to an audience that more or less knows all this stuff, but I just want to say it anyways, and I wanted to come up here and just give a personal perspective, a personal use case, a real user, not that you're not real users, but just not from the perspective of I'm pitching something at you. I'm not pitching anything. I actually care about Steam. No matter what happens to Steam, I will always be thankful, because I write poems now and I make movies, and it's awesome, and I've had great experiences, and I don't know if I have anything else to say. I think I'm just
Woo! Mark Coins! Thank you so much, man. Where's Beavis?
What's that?
Where's Beavis?
Oh yeah, I need a Beavis. Yeah.
Hey, good luck with the reconstruction.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Thanks a lot. Butterscotch. Woo! Okay. We don't have time for coffee break. So if you need to grab a coffee, just go in and out. After this session, actually, we have lunch break. So maybe stay here, because we've got 5 interesting apps doing the second stage of State of the Apps, second session of State of the Apps. So we're going to start off with a travel feed, I think. And I guess I'm not going to present them. So I want to invite, yes, hi, good morning. Oh, you don't need it? No, you don't need this. Oh, why am I walking with a table or suddenly? Good morning, man. Do you have a clicker? Yeah, but I forgot to wire you up. So we're just going to change the microphone. Can somebody bring a fully charged microphone? Because this one is... And the click, you got it already? Or but can't you stole the clicker? I get it, but hey, clickers are nice. Nice to have. Take away the clicker. Did you take the clicker? Okay, cup. Thank you. Cup. Yeah, super smooth. Thank you. Good luck.
Okay, thank you, Roland. Hello, SteemFest! My name is Julian Peters. Most of you know me as @JP Photography. And along with Jürgen Horn at For 91 Days, who's sitting over there, I'm co-founder of TravelFeed, the global platform for travelers and travel bloggers. So first I'm going to tell you how we both ended up on Steem. So Jürgen has been a travel blogger for over 10 years, has published over 2,000 high-quality travel posts in the process, and I was actually a reader of his travel blog many years before I joined Steem. And despite having this very successful travel blog, Jürgen has been struggling to make an income from this travel blog because like conventional social media, just like sucking up all the visitors, won't let anyone visit your site, see your ads. So that's a real problem. And for me as a traveler, the current situation isn't great either because I was following a few travel blogs, like 10, 20 favorite travel blogs. And whenever I'm traveling, I'm looking for like alternative places to visit. Like not just the main tourist spots, but like the real hidden gems. And you don't find them like on the first page of Google, you find them on the small travel blogs that don't have search engine optimization, that are like hidden between like all the copywritten stuff. So I was following maybe like 10, 20 travel blogs. One of them was Jürgen's blog. And whenever I traveled to a country, I was searching all those travel blogs manually and see, okay, has this travel blogger, have they been to Thailand? Have they been to Bolivia, for example? And I realized that was just not a great way. So we were both not happy with the current options for travelers. So we kept asking our friends, kept asking other travelers we met, other travel bloggers, and we found out that actually 95% of travelers are unhappy with the current choice of platforms. So let's see why is that and what we are doing better with TravelFeed. So basically, many travelers have a dream of having a successful travel blog and earning an income from that. But most people who start a travel blog, they give up within the first 5 months. So why is that? So first of all, you have to invest some money in starting a travel blog. So you have to buy a domain name, set up some hosting, and it's not easy. Because right now there's like no platform where you can just start your travel blog for free and you can later make an income with that. And then at the same time, if you start your own travel blog, like you have no hits from Google, you have like no engagement in your posts, so you have no income, you have no engagement, and that's why most people give up. And social media, on the other hand, they promise us engagement. So you start posting on social media, you can like find people who follow you, you get engagement, but then the social media sites, the conventional social media sites, they make all the money, they don't share the money with you, they don't want anyone to end up on your side. So it's not a good solution either. And so that's why we both came to Steem, because Steem promises to give revenue to content creators. So I put like Steemit on this slide and not Steem, because the problem is that Steemit and other general platforms are not made for travel. So you have like your feeds there, and you see like the newest travel posts. But what if I want to travel to Thailand? I don't need to see like the 10 newest travel posts from all over the world. I want to see the best travel posts about Thailand, about Bangkok. I want to do my research there. And that's what like generic, like general topic blogging platforms like Steemit cannot offer. And on the other hand, like we try to introduce many friends and other travelers to Steem, and they all found it like very hard to use. Like you have like 5 different private keys, like 4 keys and your brain key. I was like, what? I just want to use like something easy. That's like way too hard to use. And then, yeah, so when we introduced Travel Feed, we made it easy. So let's look into how we made Travel Feed easy. So when you're a traveler and you want to join Travel Feed, we have easy sign up. So you put in your email address, you start writing your first travel post, and when it's good to go, we set you up with a free Steem account. And when you set up your Steem account as Travel Feed, you can choose to have like just your Steem account or your Steem account and Travel Feed Easy Login, which is what we recommend for most users. So what does Easy Login do? Easy Login gives a posting authority to travelfeed.app, which is basically the same that happens that if you log in with Steem Connect for the first time. And through this posting authority, you can then send requests to our API server, and we post it like through your account. And the great thing is that you can just set your email address and your password. And in the future, you can go to travelfeed.io, log in with your email address and your password, and you can post to Steem. You don't need your private posting key anymore. Of course, we still give you your private posting key, your private keys when you sign up, and you have to save them safely to use other apps to transfer your funds. But for your everyday Travel Feed use, you just use email address and password, as easy as any social media site. And our third pillar of easiness is the Easy Editor. So the Easy Editor means that you don't have to know any HTML or Markdown. You can just like write your post and publish a beautiful travel post. You can add a location. And then we do have all the advanced Steem features. Like if you want to, you can set beneficiaries, you can change the payout options. But for users signing up with Easy Sign Up, they are hidden by default. So you have to enable them in the settings. So in the beginning, our editor is just like super easy to use, making it easy for new users to join Travel Feed. And of course, we have like all those travel-specific features that I mentioned earlier. So you can really discover the world with Travel Feed. You can just like find inspirations for your next trips, but also you can plan for your trips. So you can say, okay, I'm currently in Bangkok. I want to explore Bangkok this weekend because, yeah, I think you all want to do that, right? So what you can do now, you can go to travelfeed.io/SteemFest or scan the QR code in the SteemFest booklet, and you can see the best tips of travelers and travel bloggers who posted on Steem, on Travel Feed, and give you like the best recommendations how to spend your weekend in Bangkok. It's awesome, isn't it? So let me tell you a bit what we are planning to do, what our exciting plans are for Travel Feed moving ahead. So first of all, we want to really push our social features. Like right now, we are mostly a blogging platform, but we have like a lot of engagement, and our users are really asking, yeah, give us those social features, give us those community features. And that's where we're going to introduce Travel Meet. So Travel Meet will bring several features. One of them is messaging, like private messaging as well as group messaging. And we are going to move our community from Discord over to directly TravelFeed.io. And also you'll be able to organize meetups and find travel buddies on Travel Meet. And we're also leveraging Steem communities and integrating them into Travel Feed to form travel communities. For example, for cycling, we started Travel Feed, we started Cycle Feed a while ago. And we're going to give users the opportunity to create many more communities on Travel Feed. The second point on our roadmap is Travel Blog. So with Travel Blog, you'll be able to have your blog on Travel Feed, but at the same time, it looks like you just have your travel blog on your own site because you can customize the looks of it. You can choose like different themes, you can add widgets, and yeah, it's basically, we will place the need to have like your own travel blog. You can just have it all on Travel Feed, and you can even have your own domain with it. So that's pretty awesome. Then another thing that we are going to do, we are going to introduce advertising and affiliate links on Travel Feed, because that's how travel blogs make money at the moment. And the payout that you get after 7 days is just complementary to that. Yeah, we are also going to have some kind of targeted ads, so you can't just say, I want to advertise to all people on Travel Feed, But for example, Bitcoins, what you could do, you could say, okay, to travelers, to backpackers, to come to Guatemala, you want to advertise your hostel. So that's pretty cool. And also, we have plans to launch our own smart media token. And let me tell you a bit more about this last point. So we believe that there's a huge potential in smart media tokens. But at the same time, you must be very careful to build like a working token economy for a smart media token. Because if you have no incentives to stake a token, and everybody just like receives it for blogging and then sells it, a token economy cannot work. This is why we have several plans for our token. So first of all, I mentioned that we have like ads and affiliate links. I mentioned that before. And travel feed will always be free to use. But there will be certain fees to it. So one fee is the one that you pay as an author. So a certain part of the earnings from ads and affiliate is actually burned. But if you have more tokens staked, this fee decreases. So if you're a blogger and you have like many blogs that on travel feed that get a lot of visits, it actually makes economic sense for you to stake some tokens just to have like lower fees. And at the same time, if you're an advertiser, you also pay a fee when you place an ad. And if you're a large stakeholder, this fee decreases. And this is actually how we as TravelFeed as a company are going to make money and fund the continuous development and the server costs for TravelFeed. Because as a large stakeholder, we can take this discount and accept fiat payments from customers for placing ads, and then take this discount that we receive as a large stakeholder as our commission. Also, there's going to be premium features on TravelFeed and TravelMeet and TravelBlog. So if you want to have like premium templates, premium widgets, if you want to enable your community on TravelMeet, if you want to create meetups, that's all possible, but you need to have a certain minimum stake for that. So that's another part where we really want to encourage staking. So I've shown you that we have a solid and growing platform, that we have solid plans for the future. And actually, we already offer the opportunity to delegate to TravelFeed to secure your share of our social media token at the time when we launch it. And since you're all travelers, as I said before, I really want to encourage you to check out travelfeed.io/SteemFest, find some inspiration for this weekend, and of course, write your own travel blogs on TravelFeed. It's easy to get started. Just go there, log in with your Steam account, and write a blog about your experiences in Bangkok at SteemFest. Also, we have several meetups next week, one in Bangkok and 2 in Chiang Mai, and you can find more information on that on our blog post if you would like to join. Yeah, and actually there's 2 more things. Today we are launching our Steam Witness, which we hope to support Steam more. We have released most of our software open source, and we are excited to work with other projects to leverage easy sign-up and easy login to bring it to more Steam apps to make Steam easy for everyone. And also, we just launched our Android app on Google Play, so give it a go, try it out, and thank you very much. And one more thing, we have a roundtable session later. I believe it's at 2 p.m.
Yeah, final details in the mobile app, because unfortunately by heart I don't have the schedule anymore. But thanks a lot, Jürgen.
Yeah.
And I will just pass on the mic to Robin. Hi man, good day.
Hello.
How was your night?
Hard.
Yeah, hard?
Khao San Road is hard.
Oh, you went to Khao San?
Yeah.
You
So
want
I'll
to take you
excuse
down
my
to Khao
voice,
San
but I'll
Road. Okay.
do my best.
Cool. It's yours.
Thank you. So I'm going to be talking a bit about Dgram, our experiences with Dgram and marketing Steam, and what I think we should be doing moving forward. So I don't think our story is a very unique one. It started with 2 friends figuring out that there is this platform where you can make money out of nowhere by just posting good stuff. And it didn't really seem real to us. But I tried it, made $10 out of an introduction post, withdrew it, and I was like, oh my God, this is huge. We got to do something about this. So we searched all of Steemit and everywhere, and we figured that, okay, there's a need for something. There's a need for a photo app on Steam. And that was great. So our journey began researching, trying to figure out how are we going to make something of a easy to use, easy to share pictures, share your experiences on Steam. But then we found SteemFest. And we were like, okay, they kind of already did it. What are we going to do about this? Then we also found Epics. And we were like, okay, they are trying to do the same thing as well. So let's analyze, how are they doing this? But we still felt that SteemFest was only catered to the Steam users. Because even the wallet sent you to the Steemit wallet page. And we thought that's not good enough. No ordinary user outside of the Steam environment is gonna just log on. Like said before, it needs to be easy. So we thought, okay, let's keep going, but let's try to differentiate ourselves. So we aimed to be more of a hybrid between Facebook, Instagram, kind of a share what you want. If it's a picture, if it's a video, micro-blogging tool, but we wanted people to write long posts. So we tried for a while to test this out on users. This was while we were studying information systems and computer science at our university. So we had a lot of university users to be able to test on. And the university users are, well, they're quite generalizable for the younger population. And what we experienced was that there was a lot of love for the whole concept of privacy and monetization. But it was more of a hype than it was a genuine feel and desire to make this change. And for us, that was strange, because we started on Steam, probably like many of you, because we believe deep down in our hearts that there is a need for an alternative platform to Facebook, to Instagram, to Snapchat, to all of these big ones who just takes our data and does whatever they want with it. And we felt like the timing was right as well, because, oh my God, there's Cambridge Analytica, there's all these scandals because of those big social medias. But getting caught up in all of this, we were kind of trying to find the right way to introduce Steam to non-Steam users while still catering to the Steam community. So our biggest problem was the whole product market fit. We were too obsessed by trying to please both the Steam community by not taking too much of a beneficiary reward, allow people to have their keys safely, and at the same time trying to cater to a whole new audience that's not the same. Those are two different target groups, and we didn't realize that. We didn't give people a well enough incentive to use our app other than that it was a microblogging app that had some cryptocurrency on it, and a new user would join us and they would try the app. After somewhat of a rigorous sign-up process, after a while we were able to move away from the whole, hey, please go to steemit.com and just register for an account and just wait. Maybe it'll take 2 hours, maybe it'll take 2 months. We don't know this, and then come back to us and try it. That wasn't a good strategy. So we set up our own registration, used the APIs, and created them with our own Steam tokens. That was easier for the users, but still, when you log in through Steam Connect and you have to first log in and then accept, and there's some keys, you don't know what it is, and then you accept again. I think you get where I'm going at. It's still a bit too hard, but let's see. And I want to exemplify by bringing up another company that has done what we should have done better from the start. And that's TikTok. Most of you, or I guess all of you, know about TikTok. But maybe not everyone knows when it started. It started half a year after Steam. And yeah, they had the Chinese and they had a good start by that. But then, 1.5 years later, they rebranded themselves, relaunched internationally, and they blew up. And it was because they got the product market fit right. They found a combination between Vine and YouTube that all the kids wanted, everyone. and they got the retention, which is a big problem for many of us, the retention. They have 52 minutes per day of users. That's 1 minute less than Instagram. That's pretty good for a micro video platform. And yeah, you might think that, well, yeah, but this is for the kids, we're grown-ups. But then at the same time, this next slide will show you that, if it works, there we are, 5.5 times the adults on TikTok has grown. In 18 months, have any of us been able to grow anything like 5 times for 18 months? That's kind of hard. But yeah, they have the money in the Chinese. That's not my point. My point is that they have the retention rate. They also have 9 out of 10 times per day. 9 out of 10 people log in several times a day. That's what we need. We need to give people a real reason to want to enjoy our services. Not because of Steam, but with Steam as a cherry on top. But we need to deliver a unique value proposition that's not just depending on people loving Steam. Because our experience has been that works for the sign-up. It's relatively easy to onboard. We've onboarded like 200-300 non-Steam users, and they join, and they'll try. And they'll see their first post getting $5, and they're like, oh my God, this is so cool. But then they post again, and again, and the rewards go down. When the rewards go down, the incentive goes down, because we didn't give them another incentive other than the rewards. And that hurts, because then they leave, and then you have an empty feed. But we don't have to look so far to see someone who actually really did this well. Splinterlands. I've been talking about Splinterlands all week, and I haven't even tried it yet. I'm sorry, I haven't tried it. I will. But I'm kind of a hardcore gamer, and when I get addicted to stuff, it's not good. I'm going to be buying way too many packs. So for now, my money is going into Steam, but maybe I'll give you my money later. But the point is, it's a great game. It's beautiful, the visuals, the marketplace. I've been creeping around the site for a while, and it's so nice. And then you have the Steam. It's the cherry on top. And it just makes so much sense to me after these 2 years we've been going back and forth. Who are we going to be? What are we going to be? What features? We're always thinking, what features should we have next? Should we add this, that? Maybe video now, maybe this. But it doesn't matter if our core product doesn't bring something new to the community. And that's what I urge everyone, including ourselves, to keep thinking about for the future. So, the status and road ahead for us. First of all, the money part has been an issue for us. I mean, yeah, you have, for instance, Epic's kind of a competitor, but we like to see them as friends because, I mean, the more into Steam, the better. But $4 million in an ICO for their part probably helped. We've done this bootstrapping like many of you, and consultancy gigs have paid for it. Because all of a sudden, when you know blockchain, people are like, oh, you're a Norwegian guy who knows blockchain. We don't have any of those. Can you just present about blockchain and how that may help us? But we also have the struggle with Facebook and Instagram coming at us because we named ourselves Dgram. So when we trademarked the name Dgram, we had their lawyers at us within 6 months. And long story short, we're still in a legal battle with Instagram and Facebook. They even threatened to shut down our Facebook and Instagram pages for Dgram because it's not allowed to have anything named Gram on our platforms. And that's kind of the censorship thing we're trying to stop here, right? That's the kind of thing where you have all these travel grams and whatever accounts on both Instagram and Facebook, no worries. As soon as they saw someone trying to do something similar to them, but with crypto, we believe they got scared. We really think so. Not like, oh shit, they're gonna take over the world, but more like, okay, let's shut this down. And that just gave us that gave us a lot of fuel, and it gave us some insights, and it made us feel like we're on the right track here. But when you change your name on Facebook and Instagram, so our way to counter the whole thing was to remove the A. So now we're Dgram on Facebook and Instagram. And I emailed the lawyer because he said that, yeah, we're going to shut you down because you have that name. And I emailed the lawyer and I was like, well, now we don't have that name, so you legally can't shut us down. But he never responded to that, and he never responded when the media in Norway started writing about it, because they knew they were kind of on thin ice. It's not the best story for them, it's for us. And for the users, that brought more in. It made people want to fight with us, because we're David against Goliath. But for investors, I mean, how many of you want to invest in a company who is being threatened by the world's largest? That's not a good idea. And we understand that. But yeah, so all of this has culminated in us needing to rethink real hard what we're doing here. And it's led to us taking the somewhat drastic measure of taking a really big step back. We're going to have to split up for a bit, shut down, and think and work hard on the product market fit. The platform is built, things work somewhat, it could always be better, but my main point is that we need to do kind of what TikTok did. We need to find how people will love our product for our product, not just because of Steam, because that's not good enough in the end. You're telling people to come and join it for the money. And the main other idea or thought I've had, and I would love any input, and if any of you do anything similar, that's great, because I want this to happen. But it's a focus on the sustainability goals by the UN. Because I was thinking, who in the world is the most likely to go through this rigorous sign-up process, this logging into a new platform in addition to all the ones you have? Well, I think it's the same people who go march and strike from school when Greta Thunberg tells us that the environment is going to shits. The people who become vegan because they care about the animals. The people who bring their own bags from home when they're going to shop at a grocery store because they don't want the plastic bags. The people who clean the oceans and the beaches when they're on vacation. Those. Because if our platform in the future would be a platform where you're encouraged to write articles and post about how to be more sustainable, how to make an impact, how to save the trees in the Amazons, whatever it is, as long as it's close to your heart, that would give them an incentive to come and read. And that might be a community, it might be an SMT, I'm not sure. But I know that those people, they go far and hard for what they believe in. And I think that's the kind of people we want. I really do. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we've learned a lot over the last 2 years since I found Steemit randomly while working on a blockchain project in 2017, the summer. And we hope to be able to provide any and all insights and help this community forward. We need to figure out, if we're going to have a platform, then it needs an intrinsic value in and of itself. We can't just rely on Steam, the marketplace, the market price, and everything else. So my closing words are somewhat simple. It's that I believe that Steam is not the solution itself. It's a tool to make a really great solution. Like Splinterlands, like many of you are working on now, I really believe in it, but I also have to realize that sometimes you're not doing it the right way. So step back, breathe, figure it out. Thank you.
Next up is Jarvi.
That's me. Yep. All right. There we are. Okay. How you guys doing? Yesterday I presented. Who was there? All right. The presentation was non-SteamPeak specific, just hopefully a bunch of good data. And today we're going to be doing a kind of presentation about SteamPeak, or a state of SteamPeak, I suppose. And this is the recap of how it all started. I'm not going to go over many of these slides in detail. It's just kind of information. Do you like the presentations when people are like, here's what I wrote, and let me just read you what's on the slides? Those are fun. But basically, the recap is that it all started last year because we were all interacting on this community, sort of. It was like a channel with photo games, and we would play photo games, and Asgarth, the main developer, is like, hey, I'm going to create an interface that has all the things that I kind of want in it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So we can have you make all the things that we also want. So that was kind of our first goals, was put everything that we wanted into one place and then make the site intuitive, because we wanted other photographers. I wanted my friends to come in, but I was like, ooh, thinking back at my experience, I don't know if I want to put them through that, because it took me forever to kind of figure out what's going on. And I'd call photographers and I was like, it's this thing. And an hour later I was like, I think maybe I got that right. I'm not sure. And it turns out I was kind of somewhat wrong in teaching them at the beginning. And then later on I learned, I was like, it's actually really quite simple, but the design should be teaching all that. It should be intuitive. They shouldn't have to watch a video or read blogs and stuff like that. So those were our original goals for SteamPeak, was to put everything we wanted into one place, because we didn't want to have to sign up for 10 different things. So when we launched, and it was June of last year, we put up a bunch of these things. I highlighted some of the ones that I think are pretty fun and cool. Templates and post scheduling and larger images, because we were photographers, and multi-account management, because I had photo games and I had my account, and then we were working on the SteamPeak account. And so then that was the first month. So this is like the second month, what we did next. And yesterday I talked about one of the things that large content creators, full-time content creators, I guess I should say, were very interested in, like this idea of beneficiaries. So, that was kind of fun that we had that one so long ago, and that it ended up being something that they're very interested in. Anyway, side note, it started off a notification system and added something like a photography portfolio. This is kind of the recap. I think last year one of our team members came and presented about some of this, so this is just kind of the recap. We're going to get to some of the things that we're doing and the things that we're planning on doing at the end, but we'll keep going through, because there was a lot of different things. And so right up into SteamFest, when we launched a witness, just right there in a witness page and everything like that. Now here's what we've done since. We integrated Keychain. We did the Explore page, and we still know, we still technically say the Explorer's in beta, because we know that finding content is going to be such a huge thing going forward. But it's a big thing. That's like the thing that, that company, Google, spends a lot of time and a lot of money doing, and it's not easy. And we know from the presentation yesterday, from the data that we got, that people want algorithm choice. They want to not just be a product, like what Buttcoin said earlier. They don't want to just be a product for us to show them what they want, to have some choice. Anyways, we did in yellow. I was like, this is an underrated feature that I personally love, and I wanted to share a little bit more. Snippets. We have templates, which is like, here's a type of post that I make all the time, but here's a portion of a post, a snippet, a portion of a post that I do often, like your little thing at the bottom. Some place call it like footer, but it's, snippet can just be wherever you want, or like, hey, here's my information about my other channels, my YouTube channel, or about my witness and stuff like that. So that's one thing I just kind of want to point out to the audience is a fun thing that I suggest looking into a little bit more. The next thing keeps on going here. Transfers. We did a lot of support with Steam Engine. We've done stuff with eSteam, utilizing their search engine type stuff. SBI, and a bunch of other third parties, Liquid, just kind of integrating their feature sets into SteamPeak. And we love to do that, and we want to continue to do that. So another reason to come chat with me. Another one that I want to point out is creating lists of users. This is a really good one because following is a decentralized way of following someone. And we know from the presentation I did yesterday that that's a huge thing, that owner, creator, and follower kind of connection right there is very big. And if you can kind of own that and no one can be in the way of that, that's huge. However, there is room for this sort of centralized or like private system of following someone. And so we created lists so that you can organize different things and you're not necessarily announcing to the world that you want to consume their stuff, and they're not like disappointed when you unfollow them because they get a notification on like Gina about, oh, they unfollowed me, my world is over. There's that sort of thing that goes on in social media that doesn't really need to be public, that you could just like follow someone and consume their stuff and they don't have to have that validation kind of addiction. So lists we thought was a great way to work with that. And now we're getting to the kind of the final stretch up until SteemFest. We've done things like help with made a proposal interface, I should say, new post search like I talked about, and claiming all your Steam Engine tokens in one. So that kind of leads us up to today, with obviously the other 120-something main features, not the little bugs that if you know SteamPeak and you're on maybe the Discord and you go on there and you're like, hey, Asgarth, the developer, why don't you do this or that, or I found this little thing, and you're like, an hour later, he's like, hey, I implemented it. It's pretty amazing. So our target, did I miss anything? Okay. Our target audience, like I said earlier, was basically ourselves, and then when other people started joining us, we kind of considered them ourselves, and what do you need to put everything into one place? But really our target audience, and it may have been apparent from the presentation yesterday, is I'm personally, and I try to make that happen, very interested in full-time content creators, is what I see as my target audience. And so we're doing everything we can to prep for that. We want retention, so we're just trying to figure out all the different things that will give them the experience that they need on SteamPeak and on Steam. So they're not here yet. We haven't started marketing to them, but that's our target audience, getting prepared for them. And the thing is, it's not just having thousands and thousands of content creators. We want to be prepared for their viewers. So, I don't know if it's the next slide, but that leads up to what we just released last night at like 9 o'clock our time. So, but what are our core philosophies first? That the consumer, this is kind of like what this is what I try to push a lot, is that the consumer chooses. So, if we look back and we think about social media, like MySpace as being one of the first things, the content creator basically made every choice, right? They were doing some things that were kind of flashy and crazy, and gave me maybe a little epilepsy. But that didn't work out amazingly well. But then we transitioned to something like Facebook, where the platform was making every choice. They knew best. They knew what you wanted to see and how you wanted to see it, and then they started deciding, well, chronological, why would you want that? We'll tell you what post you would like to see. So we're going with this third sort of option. What's kind of a mix. We've obviously spent a lot of time, and we have some good insights and great minds, so we'll put kind of a default. But we would like the consumer to choose, so give them some options. So there's view styles, the grid style, and the blog style, and the list style, and different things appeal to different people. We're not assuming that this is how you want to see it, but you get to choose. And the sorting methods, the algorithm choices, your opinion on, like, you're the consumer, you should be choosing if you want to see not safe for work or not. and give them a few more options on how that experience is for them. So that's one of our core philosophies. I'd say the other one, more the business philosophy, is no dependencies. To work hard towards that. Work hard towards no dependencies. We love it. We want you. I'm excited to see all the apps coming up here and having plans to bring in lots of people. But we don't want to ever feel or be dependent on you guys bringing in people into this platform. So we're not just like, oh, we're going to wait for you guys to bring them in and have something awesome. They're going to start using us. But have a plan to bring in tons and tons of people for our own platform, and no dependencies on the Steam price or reward pools, but benefits, cherries on tops, things that are helpful. You know, we have a witness, but obviously we're not like, our whole business plan is to be a number 20 witness or something like that. We just did a Steam proposal that's large, but we're like, you know, we're going to do all these features anyways. This isn't an ultimatum. This isn't a Kickstarter, you know, like if we get funded, then we'll do these things. But we said in the proposal, you know, if we get funded, we can do all these things much faster and much better. So what are some of those things? That's the last slide. The next slide is what we've recently done, which is, the second one, because that applies to something I said earlier, helping the content creators that we're looking to, that's our audience, you know, and we want to help them with the people that come in and have a guest, right? And they just want to come in and like, hey, thanks for that video, that's awesome, and they come onto a Steam platform and they're like, how do I write a comment? Well, you got to, you know, get an account. How do I get an account? Oh, it's only like 45 cents right now. Okay, I can do that. But how do I get Steam, you know? So that's hard. We all understand that, talking to the choir here. So we started guest counts yesterday. It's as easy as, if I may be in front of it, just really simply just clicking on the little Facebook icon, and now you're a guest. And you have all these features right here. You don't get to select a username per se, but you get a few of these things here. You get the settings and everything like that. And the next updates will have that beauty. Isn't it amazing? But they'll be able to create or comment and create posts. And that's what they need, you know, that content creators, that interaction, and then be able to click like a like button, which isn't a vote, because obviously if they don't have a Steam account, they can't vote per se. But they need those sorts of interactions. That's what a content creator is needing a little bit more of. So this is on our site, which I realized was awesome to educate. Like, here's what the Steam account can do, you know, and then right above it is, here's the different ways, you know. You can use Steam Splinterlands, Steam Ninja, or Steam It, and those are some of the ways. We'll also, because the last slide will say what we're doing, is other ways to sponsor and to bring in people, to have you guys all be a part of bringing in other people with really good tools. But the other recent update was burn promotions, basically burning Steam to promote on Steam Peak. And the interface is very simple. You can choose like different topics or just general, and it's kind of like ads, but it's very very quick to use, and you're burning. So we look at it as there's an ad, it's a promotion, it's a blog post, but when you look at it, you can go, oh, I like that, because my value of what I own now just became bigger because they had to burn theirs to do that. And we want that to integrate with as many other platforms that want to use that, and we'll put it on there like, hey, you're promoting on Steam Peak, here's our little fee. Do you want to promote it on Travel Fee? Do you want to promote it here? And we'll facilitate that so the fee goes to other places and they'll promote it on their posts if that's a thing that they would like to do. So 2020 plus, here's what we're looking at. Obviously, I'm a huge proponent and a huge fan of the communities type interface. And we look to support the SMTs. A big thing, well, guest accounts is on there. We just did that. But multiple ways of moving the guest, moving the viewer into being a Steam user and having reasons to do that. So, and then on the list, a few more things. The Steam, making it more intuitive was obviously one of our goals. And I'm sure I'm over time, but I talk fast, so. And then finally, one of the things that people ask is mobile. We've done a lot to make our site mobile friendly. I've been using it a lot while here. I feel like it's good, but I recognize that most of the world, oh, you have a thing, Steam Peak? Okay, and they go right to mobile to play on, or the app store of whatever device. And they're like, where is it? I was like, we just go to Chrome and open it up. Oh, that's weird. So anyway, that's what we have in plan. We can obviously expedite these things, but if you want to, the Steam proposal obviously is nice. We can expedite it that way, but you don't have to feel like it because we're going to do it anyways. We're not dependent on any of you. And yeah, so there we go. Ta-da.
Yeah, come. You want to play the video first?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Vincent will play the video for you first. And we have sound, yes. You can hear me?
And it's gonna be the first time I see it on the big screen, actually. Worried. Does it have sound? No sound.
Crypto Brewmaster is the first economic strategy game app with elements of studying and mining. In the world of Crypto Brewmaster, you will manage your own brewery and develop the economy of the manufacturer itself. While upgrading your brewmaster skills, you will influence the location of the game world. Brew beer using a variety of recipes with the most various raw materials and other ingredients. Improve your skills, hire workers, install special equipment and items of different rarities, up to the legendary ones. Sell the beer that you brewed in cafes, bars and restaurants. Improve the infrastructure of your location. Do everything possible to sell more tasty and different beer. For the beer you have sold, you will receive an in-game token, CBM. You can spend this token at your own reason, improving the brewery, acquiring new items, building new objects. CBM token can be traded for Steam using the integrated exchange, Cryptex24. This means it's even possible to purchase real beer or deliver it directly to your home using our Telegram bot. Crypto Brewmaster, Brew Started Trade. Coming soon on the Steem blockchain.
Wow. That was tough. That was tough because it was like 15 hours of work on this video and only 2 minutes, so I'm pretty impressed being here and representing our startup, Crypto Brewmaster, the beer game. So I'm a member of Team Ukraine as well, and me and Evgen, they're representing Team Ukraine as well. So I need this thing first. It's actually my first time speaking at the crypto event and IT event, so I'm kind of nervous, and I used to speak about beer more, so my apologies first. Okay, so about the founders, it's me and my colleague Artem. We are there on the photo near the beautiful brewery close to Munich, the Freising town called Weinstefan. Huge fans of beer and beer tourism as well. So Artem is a better speaker. Actually, here he is. He's a beer tester, brewer, beer sommelier. If you know BGCP program, it's a quite interesting thing, which approves you like a professional beer taster as well. So yeah, he's certified brewer, certified in Czech Republic, and collaborated for over 20 different breweries in Czech Republic in terms of beer production and beer tastings. Yes, he's a speaker and I'm a drinker over there as well. I'm certified BGSP judge, and I do the brew for one of the small craft brewery in the Ukraine called Tsipa Brewery. This translates as a chicken brewery. So Tsipa is a small chicken. It's located in the western part of Ukraine, and if you ever gonna be in the western part of Ukraine, you're invited to taste the good craft beer. That's it. So together we created first Ukrainian craft brewery, the first brewery that called itself the Craft Brewery in 2012, and we made our path from this small kettle, German Braumeister system for 20 liters, which we brewed the beer at our home regular basis, and we gave the beer to our friends to try. Then we did the contract brewing. Then we helped out bigger breweries to produce the beer. So we're doing in this business from 2012, and we are real passionate about the good quality beer and to spread the word about the good beers to the people. And actually, regarding myself, I'm also a gamer and a big fan of card games. And for the last 5 years, maybe even more, I was wondering, how can I put it all together and make something interesting? So I'm kind of newbie on this team because I'm registered on February here because one of the game of the drug wars. And after all this puzzle kind of completed at my head, so I've seen the different references, such successful projects as Splinterlands, Next Colony, quite good. So I decided why not to try to put it all together and do something like that. So it's going to be an economic strategy where you will run your own location and run a brewery over there. So you will go the full path from like a small microbrewer, because we know all about it. We know how to enlarge yourself. So you're gonna have this path from kettle at kitchen to a bigger brewery, and you will produce the beer, the different quality beer. And the location itself gonna buy the beer, purchase the beer from you, and you're gonna earn the token and exchange it for Steem later. So yeah. So you're gonna use like different real raw materials, not real but like virtual, but it will be same as real, like malt, hops, yeast, and even the water. And regarding on the quality of these materials, because that's actually an issue in the beer production. If the raw materials better, then the beer gonna be better. That's how it works. So this will define the quality of the final beer, and the location will work. If the beer has more quality, then it will purchase your beer more with more power. That's it. So we made the CBM token Right now, at the moment, currently it's just for fun, but in future it will be received while selling the beer to the location. So, yep. There will be packs of collectible items which gonna used for improving the potential capacities and all the different performance of the objects inside the game and the brewery itself. So it's gonna be kind of collectible items like cards, different, again, rarities like normal, common, legendaries, etc. And it's gonna be kind of locations. So we're thinking about making kind of premium locations which gonna be equal to the real places in the world. Real places in the world, I mean, like, for example, like a Düsseldorf with its Altbiers, or maybe like Munich with the traditional German Helles. And, okay, so some maybe California city, San Diego, where the people love drinking IPAs. And all these specific areas will have their own potential in selling different styles of beers, different like cultural things, and etc. Yeah, this is regarding the locations. We're just thinking about we're gonna make some kind of pre-sale of the location to cover some expenses, but it's gonna be available maybe like in 2 weeks. So this is just a slide for it's like sample prices. What we do already, we collaborated with our local exchange called Cryptex24. This is a local Ukrainian exchange who can exchange Steam for our local currency hryvnia, and you can exchange Steam for Bitcoin there. It's very low fees over there, and you can check it out. It's kind of interesting and very good looking and easy to use. And what we already did, like last week, we launched the Telegram bot. I don't know if you're familiar with the Telegram bot, but it's it's a messenger with good potential. And in ex-USSR countries, everybody uses Telegram instead of a different messenger. So we did the bot for the brewery that I work for full time, the Tsipa Brewery, where you can order the bottled beer and pay with Steam for this beer. So it's actually working right now. You can check it out. But it's Ukrainian and English. If you want, you check it out. I will help you with the translation. Yeah, currently that's what we did. And actually, this is when the circle is turned, when you like earned some crypto by playing the game and spend this crypto for the real beer. That's how it used to be. Yesterday I had a question from guys from TravelFeed about where's the money from. I mean, like how will you earn the money? So actually we have lots of friends, the manufacturers of the brewing equipment, friends who producing the raw materials, and our idea to connect those guys to the digital assets inside the game. So, for example, Zip Technologies company from Hungary produces high-end equipment, and they would like to promote their equipment into the States, for example. And it's going to be very good for them to list themselves on the game to promote. And as well, another question, what the game will get for the Steam community. And I have an answer because the statistic says that, for example, in the USA, officially, it's 1 million of officially registered homebrewers regarding to the American Homebrewers Association. And for at least we have like 3% of them getting on board to Steam by the game and spread the word about the Steam blockchain. Everybody will win because of this. So this is our vision. This is our actual project. Just follow my Steam account to know more. We will inform you later. And one more word. If it's possible, if anybody interested in promoting their startups, we run the Kyiv Blockchain Forum. It's on December. You can come there. You can spread the word about your product, about your startup, and help us to promote all the Steam community, all the Steam blockchain to our people for the Team Ukraine. So thank you very much. Thank you.
And the last presentation before lunch is Viconomics.
Hello.
From OneRamp. He was also last year in Krakow. I'm really curious how your project has evolved. And thanks for being here.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm Viconomics and I'm from India. So I work on a project. It's called OneRamp.io. So I have a startup in India and we work on other projects also. But OneRamp is like a passion project for my team and it's very close to us. In this presentation, I'll be talking about what OneRamp is. So last year also we presented, some of you know. And then another thing I'll be talking a little bit about is challenges on Steam, a little bit from an app developer's perspective, because I think at this point of time, it's very important to talk just a little bit about that. And one of our approaches that we have been thinking about is an anti-approach to growth. So this is what I'll be talking about in the presentation. So I'll first start with the OneRamp platform. So when we started this platform, we wanted to target it for the creative communities. So the most important thing for us was to keep it simple and aesthetically pleasing. So we made the app in a way that when you log in on the app, you have to choose whatever interests you have. It's like we have got different options: art, dance, photography, literature, and a bunch of other things. So whatever you choose, you get a custom feed on your home screen. So we have an Android app, and we're also on the web. So this is how the feed looks like. And instead of the voting, we have got rating, so you can customize your, we've got 1, 2, 3, 5-star votes, so you can customize how much percentage you want to vote on each of the ratings. And this is how the app looks like. And we have got one feature, it's called contests. So on the app itself, you can create contests. We have got it has a very simple interface to create a contest. You can simply put the title and description and everything. And you can select judges and all. And you can assign prizes. So it gets created. You can assign at what time start, at what time it ends. And the other thing is that we actually found a lot of people kept running contests on Steam, but they procrastinate for like a lifetime to declare the results. So we created a tool in which you just select the entries which have won the contest and it automatically creates a blog. You can edit that and it gets published. So this is the feature that we created. 1 second. Another thing is that because we wanted to target it for the artist community, we kept the editor very simple. There is no markdown, but you can do pretty much everything that you can do in a markdown editor. And you can save your drafts, so you can save multiple drafts. And then this is a Steam wallet. So in the Steam wallet, you can see we have got pretty much every action that you can do in a wallet is there. You can see all your tokens. You can transfer power up, power down. You can even delegate from here. You can see your transactions. And you can see that, like, if you go to a particular account, you can see the delegation details. Like here, you can see this is the old screenshot. You can see what accounts Freedom has delegated. I think this is not the current delegations, but in the app, you can see that as well. You can see your RC details. So voting power, resource credits, whatever details that you have to basically go to other front ends and have to locate it. And then you can cancel the delegation. So pretty much what we wanted to do was that have all the options that you actually need to use Steam. So everything is there in the wallet. So this is how this works. Another thing is that this is not the communities that was presented, that Steemit is building. So we tried to take a shot at communities. What we did was that the existing communities that were there on Steam, what we did was that we created an interface for them. So on our platform, on OneRamp, you can go and join them. There is a section where you see select. So whatever, suppose travel feed is there. So whatever travel feed upvotes, you can see it in the select
select page, and then you can see all the posts that is being created in that particular tag. So we just wanted to take a shot and see how things work around in the community section. So these are all the existing communities that we brought on our app. And then you can see the people who are running these communities, people who post regularly. So we did just a couple of things to get it started. So we'll see how it goes, and based on that we'll evolve. So this is about the app and all the features that we have. And now I'll move to the second part, which I wanted to cover. That is, from an app developer's perspective, what are the challenges to build an app on Steam? So if you talk about any app on Steam, this is apps on Steam are basically consumer apps, social media and other use cases. So if you look at consumer apps, any consumer app grows in pretty much the same way. You start an app, and then there is just one small emotional connect with a user, and if the users like it, they use it, they tell their friends, and that is how that app grows. And on the way, when you have a threshold of users, then you start to monetize it, or you build some use cases so that it's economically feasible for you to develop an app. So this is how it happens. But I think what exactly happened on Steam was that, so in the past couple of years, we were stuck with that, with growing our user base. Like, even there were technological limitations and things like that. The user base did not grow, but things were looking economically feasible because rewards were flowing in and people were earning money and apps were making just a little bit of money, at least some of the apps, not everyone. So there was no user base as such, but it was looking economically feasible. So somehow it was an indication in which the price of Steam actually played the fault line here. That is what I would perceive from my end. The price of Steam was high, and everyone had this, that things are going well. And from my perspective, because the price is down right now, it's around 10-15 cents. So right now we get to ask the right questions. We get to see from the perspective that we need to actually grow. So I think that is what is important for Steam. So from my personal perspective and on behalf of my team, I would say that it's a good thing. A lot of people would disagree with me on this, but I feel that it's a good thing that right now the price is low and we get to ask the right questions. We get to focus on the user base, and suppose the price of Steam is $10, and then everyone talks about changing the world. And when the price of Steam is 10 cents, you actually put your head down and work on changing the world. So that is what is important right now. So this is what is important for all the apps, I think, on Steam, even for us, to find one very small use case through which you connect with the user, you connect with people and work on that. So for us, what we planned is that, so we have kind of an anti-approach to growth. We don't want to develop any new features. I think we have got enough features on board. We have got a very good team. And luckily for us is that because we have a startup and we work on other products also. So development is expensive. If you don't earn, you can't develop anything. I think it's more expensive than construction. You make a good app, it costs you more than making a good home or building a house. So for us, we are lucky that we have got other product. We were able to raise $1 million for that product. So our team actually has got that leverage to work on this. So that works in our favor, but not everyone can, like, if you don't make economic sense of the product, it's very difficult to actually work on it. So that's the thing. So what we have decided for ourselves is that we'll not be adding any new features. And we did quite a bit of user research for our other product. And based on that and based on some of the insights, we decided to we'll zero down on the contest feature and try to revamp the login system to get other users from even outside the Steam, and just focus on one of this feature, one feature, bet on it, and let's see how things happen from there. So this is our roadmap going forward. And I think that's all from my end. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, Economics. Thank you. Oh, thanks. Oh, but I already have a mic. Let's do it in stereo. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this was the morning session. We made it only 10 minutes delay. So now lunch is being served in the foyer, and we continue at 1 with I want you all on the stage at 1 because I think it's cool to have a group picture. So it's also on the program. It has an icon with a camera. So just so you know, at 1 we'll be here for the group picture. Ladies and gentlemen at the stream, yes, you won't be here for the picture. Sorry, you're missing out. We continue in 50 minutes. So start upvoting some posts or something. Cheers.